If I put it in probably one word or one sentence, in big companies, the fight is against friction, breaking through bureaucracy and legacy mindset. And in startup, the fight is against gravity, limited resources, credibility, and capacity to scale.
Today, we are joined by a transformative leader whose career spans some of the most dynamic sectors in education, talent assessment, and business innovation. He has steered major organizational changes, is recognized for driving business growth, turning around underperforming ventures, and even championing the value of technology in creating healthier, more effective workplaces. He is the CEO of Ricago, Philip Kurian. A very warm welcome to the show, Philip.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. And I'm really looking forward for our conversation.
Likewise. So I used to love the show Profit, where you'd radically change the growth trajectories of SMEs. And you've led transformations at organizations like Pearson, ETS, and even the ongoing one that's happening with Ricago. So what are the most important ingredients for successfully turning around an underperforming business, or let's say taking it to the next level?
Well, great question. Yes, this is actually could run into a full day workshop with lunch and coffee break included, but I'll try to minimize in the short given time. First, it's really important to clearly, honestly understand the problem, diagnose the situation carefully, and share the truth without hiding anything. Find the main cause so that right action can be taken. It's equally important to build a strong team, develop leaders who are committed, and give power to the people who work directly with customers. And as leaders, we should remove the obstacles that stops from doing their best work. The next thing what we need to do, because we just set the platform ready for them, and we should help them focus in creating a clear, powerful strategy. Make the value we offer sharp and easy to understand. Don't complicate it. Concentrate on our strong areas and choose actions that will create the most impact. Once this is created, then work with discipline by setting clear, measurable goals and review the progress at regular intervals. Be ready to change the plans when needed because the course corrections are required. We are human beings. We make mistakes. Accept the mistakes and change the plan and move on. It's equally important to celebrate success because every success matters. And definitely celebrating success will keep your team motivated. And for what we are doing all those things, it is for the financial strength of the organization. Carefully manage your money by protecting cash and cutting all kind of wasteful spendings. You may have loss-making contracts. Renegotiate the terms and invest in areas that promises good returns. Equally important is communication. Share the updates within the team and show the progress to the outside organization to build the trust. I would put the last most important thing in this entire journey would be align companies' roles and rewards to the goals and take courage to make changes if the current way of working is not effective. So if you incorporate these elements in an organization, I'm sure we can definitely turn around an underperforming business.
Fantastic. So while we'll dig into a few of these more in detail subsequently, I want to touch upon your experience because you've also worked in a lot of startups as well as larger companies, even government ones. So how has the difference been when it comes down to the mindset in each of these, especially around driving innovation?
One of the most important factor in both places is adaptability. You should be flexible enough to adapt to the situation. But yes, there are definitely challenges. The biggest challenge in driving innovation are different for large companies and startups. In large companies or in government, it can be really hard because there are many rules, layers of management. People used to do things in a certain way, and this can definitely slow down new ideas and make people afraid of taking risk. It's also challenging to get everyone on the same page and balance short-term work with the long-term innovation. Whereas when you come to the startups, the challenge is often having limited money, people, and tools, right? And they need to find the right product quickly and grow fast, which put pressure on trying new ideas. Startups must quickly change direction and learn fast. In short, companies need to create a culture that allows new ideas despite rules, and startups needs to be creative within their limited resources. If I put it in probably one word or one sentence, in big companies, the fight is against friction, breaking through bureaucracy and legacy mindset. And in startup, the fight is against gravity, limited resources, credibility, and capacity to scale.
Excellent. Because it's actually very interesting because I have seen this even with some of the larger startups now. So let's say the level of nimbleness, the innovation that a company had initially, and when they scale and they become larger, you can see a palpable difference in the mindset, not only of the team, but of the leadership as well. Are there any leadership practices that you believe are outdated in today's fast changing business environment? And what should be they replaced with?
Some traditional practices like strict control, simply giving orders, ignoring team ideas are really becoming outdated. For example, when I was in a junior role or a junior leadership role, I used to be team giving precise instruction and expecting things to be done exactly my way. It's my way or highway kind of a style which I used to follow once upon a time. But over the years, through experience, uh, I realized being flexible, encouraging teamwork, and listening to everybody's ideas works much better. We shouldn't stick to everything we were taught or learned without question. Instead, we should adapt and change as world evolves. If I have to give you a key takeaway from my experience, is shift focus from control and rigidity to empowerment, adaptability, and trust, thus transforming teams into a powerful drivers of growth and innovation. I would now prefer in that way, and that's how I lead my team. And that was really helpful, even in a rigid government sector.
Fantastic. So, um, I can't help but notice this really attractive logo that you have launched right behind you. So, I wanted to dig a little deeper into that as well. And I believe the tagline is redefine tomorrow. So, what does this, the entire, not only the branding, but the entire logo change, what does this mean for you as the CEO and also for Ricago's long term aspirations?
Redefine tomorrow is more than a tagline, it's a commitment from Ricago. As a CEO, it challenges me to lead with a future ready mindset. pushing Ricago beyond traditional compliances, driving purpose-led change, and scaling our global impact through innovations and partnerships. For Ricago, it means making GRC predictive, not reactive, shifting compliance from cost to a driver of trust, sustainability, and growth, and anchoring our journey in innovation, ESG, and a deep client partnership. In short, Redefine Tomorrow is our pledge to shape the future of governance, risk, and compliance with impact that lasts. So that's what we are geared for, and that's we are striving for.
I have sold GRC softwares like about a decade ago when I was with IBM. And usually compliance was often seen as a cost of doing business rather than a driver of growth. But you mentioned a very interesting point right here that you have basically making compliance as a strategic advantage. So what's the secret behind that?
See, compliance is just seen as a big box cost, but in reality, it's a growth enabler. Compliance builds trust with regulators, investors, and customers. That trust means smoother market entry and faster scaling and fewer disruptions. We have seen so many organizations who failed purely because of non-compliance. I would like to put it in this way. Compliance is both insurance and opportunity. It protects you from penalties, but it also makes you more attractive partners, capital, and talent. The mindset shift happens when a leader is asking, what does compliance cost? And then start asking, what opportunity does it unlock? Then it becomes the real strategic advantage for an organization. So it's not a cost. Use it as an enabler. So that's how we position it.
True, true. Besides, I mean, the point you've raised, right? I mean, at the end of the day, anyone will trust Tata's or an SBI because of the brand. So it's basically the trust that you're building. How about on the data security and privacy? I mean, these are becoming major boardroom concerns, especially with the advent of AI also coming in. How should organizations balance compliance with innovation?
Data is something which has been very loosely used in the current setup overall. Our government is bringing in a lot of rules and regulations to protect it. It started some time back and now it's becoming more and more important. I don't see the compliance and innovation as opposite. They actually go hand in hand. The smartest organizations build data security and privacy into the products and processes from day one. That way, compliance isn't a roadblock. It's just a trust enabler, as I said earlier. When customers and regulators see you protecting data responsibly, it gives you the license to innovate more boldly. And in today's tech, with AI automation, the real-time monitoring, you can stay compliant while freeing up your people to focus on new ideas. So the balance comes from integration. Make compliance as a part of your culture and systems, and you create a secure foundation where innovation can release. And we follow that very strictly as a compliance organization. We also need to follow compliance. We strictly do. And that's the reason we are certified for SOC 2. We are ISO 27001 certified. That's why MNCs work with us without any fear and sharing their most valuable data with us. So it's really very important, and every organization must comply with data security.
Perfect. And of course, Ricago is a famous compliance firm, but you joined the organization fairly recently. What's your perspective on the compliance landscape that's there today? And again, where do you really see the future of compliance happening?
We see a very clear shift. What organization needs is technology-enabled compliance that gives them the real-time risk. The landscape is becoming more and more complex with regulations evolving rapidly across sectors and geographies. That means business can't afford a reactive approach anymore. They need a proactive integrated system. For example, non-banking financial institutions get on a daily basis changes from RBI or even SEC. To how do they catch up with this frequent changes? That's where we play the game. We have a dedicated team tirelessly working day in and day out, looking at all these changes, and every day we keep updating our library for all the industries, all the segments that is applicable not only for India, but for multiple countries. Because we do work closely with MNCs who operates in different countries, and we do support multiple countries also. So that's what the change we are making. Looking ahead, I see compliance moving towards being predictive rather than preventive, using data and AI and automation to anticipate a risk before they happen. And equally important, compliance will be seen less as a burden and more as an enabler of sustainable business growth. Our mission at Ricago is to help organizations make the shift by simplifying the complexity and embedding compliance seamlessly into their day-to-day operation. So it's not something they need to do only when it is regret. No, it happens on the daily job, daily routine, and that will simplify the problem what they carry in the as following the compliance.
You also mentioned in the beginning around how you love to give back to the society, also being a very important part of leadership. And you are also the founding member of Alara Residential Center for persons with developmental disabilities. So, how important is it personally for you? And how strongly do you recommend that other leaders or leadership of companies should give back to the society?
Giving back is very personal to me. Starting Alara came from my belief that everyone deserves dignity, respect, and inclusion in society. It's not about helping, it's about creating opportunities that people feel valued and they can grow. As leaders, our role goes beyond running successful business. We also have a responsibility to use our resources, influences, ideas to make a positive difference in people's lives and in communities we serve. Why I chose the development disability specifically is I see there is a huge requirement going forward. We used to live in a world where it used to be joint families. If somebody has a problem, there is a family to look out. We shifted that to a nuclear family. Most of the families are having one child or two children.
Sure.
What after them if they have a child with a disability? Who's going to look after them? Especially a person with a mental health or a developmental disability with the mental health care. It's going to be a huge problem for that family. Which probably they don't realize it now, but as they move forward, they realize. So Alara is just one, but I work a lot of other organizations and spent most of my time outside my working. I dedicated for this
Wow.
cause.
Fantastic. So, I mean, this itself is a topic to have a longer conversation. So
Yeah.
I completely agree with you. And this brings us to the final question, which is that if you could give only one defining piece of advice to emerging leaders, maybe even entrepreneurs like startups and so on in India, what would that be and why?
If I could give one piece of advice, it would be this: lead with purpose, not position. That's what I give. Title fame, Market shifts, strategies evolve, but the purpose remains. When you root your leadership in a clear why, you inspire trust, unlock strength, and create impact that outlives you. That's how true leaders and entrepreneurs shape the future of India and beyond.
Fantastic. I think I love the theme. I think it's the trust that is playing everywhere. I mean, be it leadership, be it from the company actually going out to the public. And therefore, of course, even when you're giving back, I think it's trust is the underlying theme of this conversation. So, absolutely loved the conversation, Philip. Thank you so much for having taken out the time and wishing you the very best for yours and Ricago's future. By the way, I absolutely love your logo and look forward to you redefining tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me to your podcast. I really enjoyed our conversation and the chance to share my thoughts on compliance and leadership. Your questions made the discussions easy and really engaging. And looking forward to keeping in touch and listening to more of your episodes. Thank you once again.